Good evening and welcome to our deep dive into a global trade upheaval that's shaking markets and rewriting political fortunes. President Donald Trump's surprise move on Wednesday to pause most of his planned tariffs on nations worldwide has sent ripples through the economy, but the escalating trade war with China remains a glaring exception, threatening to reshape global finance and diplomacy. Let's unpack this high-stakes saga, spotlighting who's winning, who's losing, and what lies ahead. Trump's retreat from his sweeping tariff plan, a centerpiece of his America First agenda, came after markets plunged into chaos. Trillions in U.S. equities evaporated, bond yields flashed recession warnings, and CEOs sounded alarms. Even Trump, rarely one to concede, noted investors were getting yippee, a nod to the panic. The pause spared most countries, but China now faces a staggering 145% tariff on goods entering the U.S. Beijing struck back, hiking levies on U.S. imports to 125% early Friday, signaling a readiness for a brutal showdown. Markets erupted Wednesday after the announcement. The Dow soared nearly 3,000 points, the S&P 500 logged its best day since 2008, up 9.5%, and the Nasdaq surged 12.2%, a record not seen since the dot-com boom. Investors exhaled, hoping the worst was over. But Thursday brought a grim reversal as fears over the U.S.-China clash took hold. The Dow crashed over 1,000 points, down 2.5%, the S&P 500 slid 3.5%, and the Nasdaq slumped 4.3%. The swings highlight a stark reality. While the tariff pause eased some pain, the China conflict looms as a deeper threat. Who's coming out on top? Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is a standout winner, cementing his influence in Trump's inner circle. A former hedge fund manager with a pragmatic bent, Bessent quietly urged restraint, wary of tariff-driven chaos. Reports say he seized a weekend Air Force One trip to push Trump toward market clarity and bilateral deals. His counsel prevailed, and while he publicly credits Trump's strategy, Bessent's steady hand helped avert disaster. Elon Musk also emerges stronger. The Tesla CEO sparred publicly with Peter Navarro, Trump's tariff hardliner, who mocked Tesla as a car assembler. Musk hit back, calling Navarro a moron, and championing open markets, even floating a US-EU free trade zone. With Trump's pause aligning closer to Musk's stance, his clout in Trump's orbit grows. Democrats score a quiet victory. Reeling since November's election defeat, they've struggled to find footing. Trump's tariffs, broadly unpopular in polls, have eroded his approval ratings, handing Democrats a chance to exploit voter unease, especially among moderates. The outlook is murkier for Wall Street and congressional Republicans. Investors rode a wild wave. Wednesday's rally was historic, but Thursday's losses clawed back much of the gains. The Dow, S&P 500, and Nasdaq sit between their pre-tariff peaks and recent lows. Wall Street finds solace in voices like Bessent's, but China's shadow keeps nerves frayed. For GOP lawmakers, tariffs sparked early unease. Some senators pushed to limit Trump's tariff powers, hoping for calm. If markets stabilized, the GOP might escape unscathed, but volatility clouds their path. The losers? Peter Navarro takes a heavy blow. His vision of massive tariffs to revive U.S. manufacturing once captivated Trump, but the pause sidelines his agenda. Though a 10% tariff lingers with hints of tailored deals, Navarro's dream of a protectionist revolution is fading. China faces a dire predicament. Beijing's defiance, vowing to fight to the end with Mao-era rhetoric, masks deep vulnerability. Its $427 billion in U.S. exports dwarfs its $154 billion in imports, making tariffs a body blow. Cell phones $64 billion, toys $30 billion, and clothing $20 billion could spike in price or vanish for Americans, but China's export-driven economy risks a 1% to 2% GDP hit, far worse than U.S. losses. What's next? The U.S.-China trade war shows no signs of easing. American households face higher costs. Think pricier phones, toys, and clothes, stoking inflation fears and complicating the Fed's moves. China's manufacturing and global trade dominance are under siege, yet neither side is blinking. Trump may pivot to deal-making with allies, but his China stance signals a long fight. Globally, the World Trade Organization warns U.S.-China trade could shrink 80%, dragging down Europe, Japan, and others. Europe's 25% tariffs on U.S. goods target GOP heartlands, while American consumers brace for a $3,789 hit to disposable income, per economists. Businesses like Walmart and Delta are slashing forecasts, citing tariff chaos. This isn't just policy, It's a global high-wire act. The tariff pause buys breathing room, but the US-China clash is the real test. Will Trump's gamble reshape trade, or will it backfire, battering America's economy? The stakes are sky-high and the story's far from over.